How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Set 6, and Happy New Year. I know I'm a little bit late coming back, but I've had a few things going on, family stuff, plus COVID. You know, I think it was COVID. The missus said it was COVID. She had COVID. I probably had COVID. But, you know, we're back in the game now. We're ready. And we have got less than 2 months until Rebirth. I mean, can you feel it? Can you feel how close it is? It's just looming up over the horizon. Just peeking its head up over the horizon like, oh, hello there. Hello. So, yeah, extra excited for Rebirth. But what I thought we'd do today is have a look at 2023, because 2023 was a year. I mean, it was a year, yeah, obviously, but it was a good year for games. Not necessarily the best year for gaming, because, you know, there's been a few bad things in gaming over the course of the year. Probably one of the worst ones being all the layoffs that have happened. And, you know, if you are one of the people that's been laid off in the gaming industry, I really do hope that you find something, because it absolutely sucks. And I hope that you can all get back to making the games that we know and love, because, like I say, 2023 was absolutely nuts for games. Like, from my perspective at least, there was some absolutely phenomenal games over the course of the year. So, we're going to look over the year, we're going to do a quick month by month, you know, we're going to talk about 2023, we're going to talk about what went on the channel. I'm not going to ramble too much, but, you know, I make that promise all the time. Keep an eye out over the next few days as well. I'm going to have a video coming out talking about the Final Fantasy 16 DLC, and then we 100% jump into Rebirth hype. Like, that's it, we just go hard all the way till the 29th of February, Rebirth. So, you know, start the year off how you mean to go on. Hit like on this video, subscribe for future content so that you don't miss out anything that goes on over the course of 2024, but let's crack on with it. So we're going to start off with January because, you know, that's when years start. See, I know stuff. And the big thing that happened in January as far as a Square Enix perspective goes was Forspoken. Now, Forspoken, yeah, I enjoyed it, I thought it was okay. But that was it. I just kind of thought it was okay. It was fun. It had some good things, like the magic parkour. That was quite a fun element. I quite enjoyed world traversal using the magic parkour. I didn't get all the hate that was thrown at the main character. Like, I really didn't get it. I thought she was okay. I thought the characters in general were okay. But this is the thing. It was just kind of like an across-the-board, it's okay for me. There was nothing that it did that kind of made me go, except for the magic parkour, which was quite fun. But yeah, in general, people really didn't like it, and I feel like meme culture kind of shit on Forspoken a little bit. Like, as soon as the first few people saw those cutscenes of Frey, and they were like, oh, look how awkward it is and how weird it is, haha, memes. And that was it. As soon as that happened, Forspoken was dead. Like, the memes did it, and then everyone in the head thinks, oh, memes told me that was bad, therefore it's bad. And the amount of people that I've seen over the course of the year that have played it and have kind of gone, oh, actually, yeah, it was alright, that. No one's come out saying, oh, game of the year. Like, there's none of that. But, you know, people who actually gave it a chance eventually, a lot of them, not all of them, a lot of them still said it was shit, but a lot of those people who did give the game a chance eventually were like, oh, it's actually okay. So, yeah, I feel like Forspoken was definitely a victim of meme culture a little bit. Let me know what you think. Did you play Forspoken? Did you actually play it? Because a lot of people who were shitting on it never played it. I remember that. I remember that vividly. But at the same time, it was only okay. It was okay. But when you stand it up against, like, Hi-Fi Rush came out in January, if I remember correctly. Like, Hi-Fi Rush was phenomenal. It was fun, it did something different, and it definitely deserved all the plaudits that it got. It was a fun game. Very good game. And on the channel, we were speaking about the interview that had just come out with Katase, or Najima, I believe it was, where they said that this was going to be the biggest year yet for Final Fantasy, or Square Enix at least, and that they had a big piece of non-Final Fantasy VII news coming. I still don't think we've got that news, unless it was Visions of Mana. That's the only thing that I can think of, that the big reveal that they were talking about in that interview was Visions of Mana, because nothing else happened. Everyone was thinking FF9 remake, and I'm starting to doubt it now, if I'm being completely honest with you. It's been radio silent for a very long time on the old FF9 remake. There's been a couple of things like the tie-ins with Ever Crisis and stuff like that that kind of made a few of us go, but then nothing. So, you know, I'm starting to doubt it. Which is good, because probably I'll end up doubting it to the point where I don't believe it anymore, and then it'll happen. So, you know, good stuff. Also in January, we had EchoS that was just too popular. It was just too popular. The servers that you could download the EchoS FF7 mod from, which, if you don't know what it is It's a mod that adds voice acting to the original Final Fantasy VII, as long as numerous other things. You can check it out. I've done videos on the channel. I'll pop links up, all that sort of business. But Echo SFF7, it is the mod for Final Fantasy VII. And yeah, they were breaking the servers. Too many people were downloading it. Servers couldn't handle it. Which, to be fair, is the best kind of problem to have. Too many people wanted it. And the team over at Sunamods have got FF8 and 9. Echo S is in progress at the moment, so, you know, keep an eye out for them because they'll be getting featured on the channel when they do eventually, like, come out in full. But yeah, Echo S going hard. Squeenix came out of the blocks real hard in February. Like, first off, you had Theatrhythm Final Bar Line, which is possibly the most fun that you can have with a rhythm game. Like, I don't think there is a more fun rhythm game in existence. Just because it's all of the Final Fantasy music in a rhythm game. It's amazing. And it's not just all the Final Fantasy music, it's all the other Squeenix franchises as well. Like, they added some of the Octopath Traveler music and the Live a Live music, and every few weeks I'll find myself just sat there not 100% certain what I want to play. And it almost always ends up being Theatrhythm that goes on, and I just sit there, play some music for a bit. It's beautiful. But they also dropped the absolute masterpiece that is Octopath Traveler 2. And if you have not yet played Octopath Traveler 2, what are you doing? Go and play Octopath Traveler 2. Like, genuinely, it was my game of the year until a certain other game dropped, and we'll get to that later. But yeah, Octopath Traveler 2, ludicrously good game. I've just started another run of it over on Twitch, so if you want to come and check that out, do so, but probably not for the next week because Dave the Diver got me. Yep, I started playing Dave the Diver. My god, that game's addictive. But yeah, February, Squeenix absolutely smashed it. I mean, other games came out as well. I mean, Hogwarts Legacy came out. I didn't play it. I was too busy in my Octopath Traveler 2 cave. But yeah, other games existed in February. But that was me. Like, Octopath and Theatrhythm, let's go. Now, on the channel, we did a lot of Rebirth interviews, and the FF16 hype train really started getting going at this point. Like, we really started seeing the FF16 hype train pick up because we were only like 4 months away from release at this point. And we were all getting a little bit itchy for some Rebirth news. If I remember correctly, in February, everyone was kind of like, so, Rebirth, where is it? Show us things, please. But we didn't get anything. And the itchiness continued on into the month of March. Now in March, Squeenix dropped Paranormasight, which is a game that I haven't personally played. I've seen a few people playing it. You'll have to let me know in the comments what you think about it, because yeah, I never got around to it. To be fair, I didn't really get round to very much beyond playing a bit of Theatrhythm, a bit of Dredge, which was one of the big games that came out that month. Absolutely came out of nowhere, and what a game it was. I really enjoyed Dredge, but Octopath Traveler 2 just had me locked down, like completely locked down. And we were playing it, we got the platinum, I did a guide video for it, it's become one of the most successful videos on the channel, so big love to Octopath Traveler 2. And yeah, March was just me playing that a lot. A lot. Resident Evil 4 Remake came out as well, which a lot of people were down with, and you know, it looked okay. Resident Evil 4 was kind of where I fell off the Resident Evil franchise in general. So I never really went back for it, but I know a lot of people who are into it still and loved the remake. So it obviously did a good job. Obviously did a good job. And then we got Final Fantasy XVI showcased at the PAX East event. So we got a lot of information, a lot of gameplay, a lot of lore dump information. We got quite a bit of stuff regarding Final Fantasy XVI. It definitely kicked up the hype in March. Definitely kind of knocked it up a level for Final Fantasy XVI. And that continued leading into the month of April, where we finally got the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters to console. And yes, this was a very good time. This was me then beginning a platinum run, where I've platinumed every single one of the Pixel remasters, FF7, FF8, FF10. I've skipped FF9 for now because fuck the skipping, man. And I know you can do a thing, but it just hurts me. It just hurts me. I will do it though. It's the only one I've not got a plat for, so I need to. But yeah, Pixel remaster goodness came to everybody's consoles and all were happy. Also, we got Live a Live in April as well. And Live a Live was one of those games that I didn't really even know about, if I'm being completely honest with you. It came out way before I was even into RPGs. It was FF7 that first got me into RPGs, really. So, like, Live a Live was just not on my radar. Getting to play it finally with the remaster, what a game. I absolutely love the different approaches it takes to telling its stories. I am a big fan of Live a Live. If you've not played it, I highly recommend checking it out at some point, because, yep, it's real good. But, like I was saying, the FF16 hype train continued on with April, and we got the FF16 State of Play, plus another absolute shit ton of lore and news and, little sneaky things that we could dissect and pick apart. We were looking at theories about Typhon, we were looking about theories about Leviathan, we were looking at loads of different theories of various characters and mythological creatures that could come up in the Final Fantasy XVI world. We were wrong about pretty much everything, but, it was fun. I remember when I thought Typhon was going to be super important. Oh, shit. Anyway, let's move on to the month of May. Now, this was a quiet month for Squeenix. We didn't see any Squeenix games drop. We did see in other franchises, Tears of the Kingdom dropped. We saw the System Shock remake come out. Quite a few games came out, but there was just nothing really Squeenix-y. And I feel like that could have been because a lot of their attention was on the hype and marketing side of things, because Final Fantasy XVI was on the brink of dropping. And we also had the usual amount of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth hype that was ticking along. Again, people were starting to get real itchy for some FF7 Rebirth news. But, in fairness, we all kind of knew that it was going to be after Final Fantasy XVI that that'd start picking up. FF7 Rebirth would have overshadowed 16 a little bit, and, it made sense that they didn't cross-promote those two things and promote them at the same time. So, getting 16 out of the way mostly made complete sense. So there was nothing left to do. All we had to do was get ourselves together and move forwards into the month of June. Now, the month of June started gloriously with my birthday. It's the best day every year, June 2nd, never forget. We also saw the release of Diablo 4, which, I've not really messed with Diablo since Diablo 2, and I'm kind of glad that I didn't. I don't know, is it any good? Is it any good? I know a few people who've played it, or who do play it. I don't really think anyone that I know still plays it, but I know people who have played it, and yeah, I don't know. Did I do good by skipping it? Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. June was crazy. We had Summer Games Fest, where we got the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth trailer, the first one of the year, the first proper trailer as well, to be fair, because the only thing that we'd had before that was like a little sneak peek where we saw Cloud and Sephiroth, Cloud and Zack. That was it. So this was like the first proper trailer for me, but on top of that, we also got the Final Fantasy XVI demo, and then, obviously a couple of weeks later, we got Final Fantasy XVI. And Final Fantasy XVI, it was a good game. It was an okay game. I feel like there's a lot of people that are shitting on it unnecessarily, but I get that because it has to live up to the standards that have been set by the rest of the Final Fantasy franchise. And when a Final Fantasy game comes out, you expect it to be a banger. And FF16 for me wasn't a banger. It was good, but it wasn't a banger. It was just, it was there. But yeah, well, once the game came out and we'd kind of played through it, all of the hype just switched immediately over to Rebirth. That Rebirth trailer was crazy, and it wasn't the last one that we'd see. No, it was not. But yeah, FF16, it's a solid 7.5 out of 10. But you would expect more when it comes to Final Fantasy, so it was a little bit of a disappointment. And that takes us moving forwards into the month of July. Now in July, we got Dragon Quest Treasures. I played it a little bit, it was okay. Again, I'm not a mad Dragon Quest guy, I'm not like big on Dragon Quest. It's okay in general. The art style's cool, but like in general, Dragon Quest doesn't really do it for me. But Dragon Quest Treasures seemed like a fun game. Like I'll always start playing them, and I'll always be like, oh, this is fun, this is cool, but then I'll tail off and get bored of them eventually. I don't think I ever finish Dragon Quest games. Like, I'll play them, but I never finish them. I don't know why that is. Maybe I need to work on that. I might let stream bully me into actually finishing some Dragon Quest games. But yeah, July was just continuing on the breaking down of the hype from the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth trailer at Summer Games Fest. There was still more stuff to talk about. We had a couple of interviews that we talked about as well. And then talking about Final Fantasy XVI and trying to break it down. And I'll be honest, the videos really didn't do well for Final Fantasy XVI. Like, I noticed a major drop-off whenever I was doing videos about 16. It kind of felt like the game just fell out of people's minds quite quickly, and people were just like, yeah, okay, next. I don't know if that's an indictment on the game or an indictment on the way we consume media these days, or both, potentially both. I'm not too sure, but yeah, 16 kind of fell out of people's minds quite quickly, and it did result in some of my worst performing videos of the year. That was a little bit disappointing. But again, loads of hype, loads of good stuff going on, and yeah, that was July. Let's move forwards into August. Now, August was another quiet month for Squeenix. You know, they just had a pretty big summer, so they took it easy, took the foot off the gas a little bit, chilled out, had a little relax, worked on some stuff in the background. That's pretty much the vibe that I got from Squeenix in August. But that wasn't the vibe in general, because oh my god, August needed to chill out so much. First, you got Sea of Stars, which is an amazing game, such a massive accomplishment. If you've not checked it out, please do check it out, it's so good. It is so good. It's just enjoyable, it's a nice heartfelt story, it's a fun time. I don't think it does anything particularly groundbreaking as a game, but it takes a lot of the best bits of some of your favourite games and kind of brings them into one package. And I feel like that in itself is it doing something different. I don't know, but either way, I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was such a good game. But Sea of Stars wasn't the only thing that came out in August. No. Baldur's Gate 3 came out. And Baldur's Gate 3 absolutely stole my soul for the best part of 120 hours. I've also done a bit of multiplayer on it. I've started another run on it. And yeah, it's real good. It's real good. It's possibly my favourite game of like the last 10 years. It's that good. If you are into your RPGs and you've not played Baldur's Gate 3, please go and play it and pick Octopath Traveler 2 up while you're on the way, because, you know, it was my game of the year until Baldur's Gate 3 came out. So, yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 is insane, and that became August for me. Like, not much went on in my mind other than Baldur's Gate 3. Gamescom happened, and we carried on building the hype train for Rebirth, but yeah, Baldur's Gate 3. Just Baldur's Gate 3. But that was August. Then we roll forwards into September. And this was a pretty busy September, let's be honest. Squeenix dropped Dragon Quest Infinity Strash, which, again, not a big Dragon Quest guy. I haven't played it. I know a few people who've played it, like Dookie over on Twitch. He's played it, but I just haven't got round to it yet. I might at some point. Other things that came out, Ever Crisis, Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, which it's a tough one, Ever Crisis, because it is a disappointment, but it also is what it is. I'm disappointed that it is what it is. I was hoping it'd be something else. It's a gacha game, and I'm not a big fan of gacha games. But it came out, people enjoy it, people are having fun with it, and we're getting the first soldier story in it, which is something that we've been covering on the channel, which is like a backstory for Sephiroth. It kind of looks at his youth, his childhood. So 100% into it for that purpose. Just not the biggest fan of the rest of it. We also had Lies of P, Mortal Kombat 1. There were a lot of games that dropped, but the one that seems like it took most of the headlines was Starfield. Yikes. You've been able to see this coming for years with Bethesda, like the steady decline in the quality of their games, because they hit gold with Skyrim, and they definitely did. Skyrim was amazing. They absolutely hit gold with Skyrim. But then they've not really moved forwards from that. They are literally just trying to make the same game over and over again from the seams of it, because it's the same engine, it's the same basic gist of everything, the same mechanics, the same systems. Like, yeah, they say it's in the Creation Engine 2, but it's the Creation Engine. It's exactly the same engine, so just stop. And yeah, I think we've all got bored of Bethesda's shit. I think they need to kind of step it up and try something a bit different, or at least go a bit harder with their RPGs, because like, I've not played Starfield, I've watched a bit of footage of it, but most of the people that I know that have played Starfield are disappointed in it. They've kind of said like, yeah, it's just the same, really, it's not that good. It's a shame, because I really enjoyed Skyrim, really enjoyed Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, even though they didn't make that. I really enjoyed Fallout 4, even though it was a big dumbing down of the Fallout franchise, there was still enjoyment to be had in there. And apparently there isn't with Starfield. I am going to pick it up at some point, try it out. It might be a case of it improves with time as the community mods it, but I don't think it's so much a buggy, glitchy issue this time. I think it's boring. It's just boring. It's just the same old shit. So We'll see. I'll try it out at some point. We had Tokyo Game Show, which came at us super hard with like a full trailer. Loads of interviews came out around the same time. This was probably the moment where we got the most information in one go. Like, we got a hell of a lot of information in one go in September. And yeah, it was pretty glorious. We got the demo kind of starting to circulate around content creators. It wasn't out to everybody yet. The public hadn't quite got their hands on it. But if I remember correctly, this was when the demo first started popping up. And yeah, the hype was insane. The hype levels went through the roof. So September, good month. Good, solid month. But after September, we had to go shimmying into October. And October, again, bit of a quiet month for Squeenix as far as games, but elsewhere in the industry, we did get Spider-Man 2 and Alan Wake 2, so there were big games coming out. There was lots of stuff going on. There was also a lot of layoffs going on. It also started the previous month. It seems like in the back half of this year, there's just been a hell of a lot of layoffs in the gaming industry. And yeah, absolutely sucks. Absolutely sucks. I really hope those people find new roles in new companies and, you know, it doesn't happen again, because it sucks losing your job. It really does. But even though we didn't get games from Squeenix in October, we got a lot of information. We got a hell of a lot of information. And we also got opportunities to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. There were a lot of events where the demo that I mentioned previously that had started circulating around some content creators became available to a lot more people to play. I got myself down to London Comic Con and I played Rebirth there for about 45 minutes, an hour, and oh my god, it was good. Oh my god, it was good. I got to run around and stab things with Sephiroth. Yeah, it was good. It was pretty good. But that was October. We're coming into the end of the year now. Things are starting to wrap up, and we're going to step into November. Now, November hit me real hard with Star Ocean: The Second Story R, which I played the original game so much back in the day, and I really enjoyed it. And the fact that this came out and it was just as breakable as it was back in the day, if not more so. It's actually more broken in this version, I think, because you can do a few different things that kind of crack the game wide open, as far as being able to roll the factors on your gear just over and over and over again, no problem. There were certain things that you couldn't do back in the original game, and it's definitely tweaked that. And it looks good. When it first got advertised, I was a bit concerned. The visual style looked really weird and jarring, because you had like these 2D sprites and then this really high-def background. And like in other games, it kind of does a reasonable job of blending it together, like Octopath Traveler 2 and stuff like that. Whereas with Star Ocean, it was very much, these are two separate entities almost. But I did get used to it, and I did quite enjoy it, to be honest with you. It wasn't bad. It wasn't a detriment to the game, let's put it that way. So yeah, Star Ocean: The Second Story R, let's go. Let's go. And that was what we were doing on the channel. I released a guide video or two for Star Ocean. I'm possibly going to drop a couple more at some point. And we were talking about Rebirth. Lots and lots of Rebirth hype, because we're just getting real close now, aren't we? We're getting real close, especially when we step into the final month of the year, December. Now, December, Squeenix released another Dragon Quest game. They've gone hard with the Dragon Quest this year, Squeenix, actually, now that I'm looking at it. They've released like 3 or 4 Dragon Quest games over the course of this year. Good job. Good job. But the big thing that happened in December was the Game Awards. And the Game Awards was a bit of a mixed bag. I mean, Baldur's Gate won everything. Fully expected. Like, literally expected it to win everything. So, not surprised about that. There were even more layoffs, and yeah, that absolutely sucks. And I've just realised, like, in the last day or two, loads of Twitch staff have been released as well. Just talking in the present day now. But yeah, Game Awards happened. Baldur's Gate won everything, as expected. We did get reveals at the Game Awards and stuff like that. We did get another Rebirth trailer. We got to see Sid. We got an absolute ton of interviews that came out, especially the Game Informer interview as well. That was a big one. Like, there was a lot of big interviews that came out, to be honest with you. So December, probably the heaviest month for interviews and screenshots and things like that. You know, not so much a trailer. I mean, we did get a trailer and we got the theme song trailer. Like, it was beautiful. But lots of interviews in the background as well. Lots of suggestions about which way things could go. Lots of playing with our minds, like we know they enjoy doing. I swear to God, if they hadn't showed me Sid in that trailer, I'd have been upset with them. But we got Sid, so I can take it. I can take all the messing with me, as long as we've got Sid. God, I love Sid. But yeah, that was 2023. A lot of stuff happened. Lots of stuff happened. Lots of cool stuff happened. Lots of great games. Some bad stuff happened. But in general, I feel like it was a positive year. Now, one more thing that we did get revealed at the Game Awards was Visions of Mana. And I'm just wondering, is that the non-Final Fantasy VII announcement that we were supposed to be getting? I don't know. Have I missed this non-FF7 announcement? Or did Katase just put far more value on it than it actually needed? Because if you remember, like I was saying, Katase ended 2022 with that interview where he said, got a massive non-Final Fantasy VII related announcement coming. So keep an eye out. I haven't seen it. I know a lot of people got excited for Visions of Mana. I've never been huge on the Mana series. It's good, I enjoy it, but I'm not huge on it. So yeah, I've not seen this massive announcement. And everyone thought it was going to be the FF9 remake. I thought it was going to be the FF9 remake. I don't see an FF9 remake anywhere. And yeah, I'm starting to have doubts. I've said this already, I think, but I'm starting to have doubts. But anyway, that's going to be the end of this video. So what did you think of the year 2023? Did you have an enjoyable 2023? What was your favourite game of the year? What was the game that gave you the most enjoyment? And what are you looking forward to most in 2024? Why am I asking that question? Everyone's going to answer Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, so yeah, that's foolish of me to ask that question. But yeah, let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. What was the high point of 2023? Was there anything that I missed? I'm sure there was. I'll guarantee that there was stuff that I missed, so let me know in the comments below what I missed. Don't forget, like the video, subscribe for future content, but more importantly than all of that, have a great day. Oh, and Happy New Year again. Hey!